I guess I will start talking about LI and DI and stuff. I am not an expert at this, but I'm pretty decent at input and I have a webcam. So I figured since I was trying to learn these inputs, it might be helpful to have other people see what the process is. And this will work probably for Morgan or Lilith, so that's why I'm playing Morgan or Lilith. So first things first, what is the input for LI or DI? Actually, I think I should probably... I think my mouse isn't being captured, but I think I should capture my mouse. So properties... capture cursor. I have capture cursor on. Well, I guess we don't get the cursor. Anywho, so the input for LI or DI is LP, LP, forward, LK, HP, right? So probably what I think a lot of people start off doing when they do this input is probably they're doing like maybe playing with one finger and are doing, which comes out sometimes, but it's also really inefficient, right? Because if we just do, you know, those, we can see we get like an LK. But what we also see is that actually you have a lot of time to do it, right? So the fact that we can get it out after like 2 normals shows that the buffer's actually like pretty big, even though it's kind of hard. So yeah, obviously we can improve on that method, right? So instead of doing one finger per with all the buttons, we could use many of our fingers. These fingers, I don't know how to get into it again. So to do that, you would say, okay, I'm gonna use one finger per button. So you would say LP, LP, forward, MK, forward, LK, HP. So that's a little bit better. And an interesting to note about these things is that you don't have to worry about having the previous inputs still registered except for the time where you tap LP twice. So when you do LP, LP, you can just start holding forward before you do the next 2 inputs. So you can see that I held forward the whole time. So that's pretty good input. If you do it point blank, you're gonna get it. It's gonna combo if you do it fast enough. Alright, so the next level of this, which is really important, is being able to kind of piano buttons. So, you know, you could do kind of like that. I don't know how well you can see that, but you can also practice getting the LK HP to be kind of pianoed. So that would look like, or I'm trying to show it on the camera. It's kind of like you're smashing both of them, but you're doing the LK just a little bit before. Yeah, you can do the metal horns. And if you look at the input display in the bottom right, you can see that it was only 1 frame that I was holding LK before I went to LK and HP. So that's pretty good. So that means when you do this, you kind of want to do it, at least at the beginning, you kind of want to do it in a few motions. So you want to do pa-pa, LP, LP, then forward. You kind of want to do forward and then do the little piano motion we talked about. So and I think a big problem I was having is pressing the forward 6 input too early. So you want to make sure that you really have done the 2 LPs before you do those. And then so it's like, yeah, it's like pa-pa. Cool. So that motion's pretty good, but there's a way that we can, most people forget to let go of it on the other hand though. Most people forget to let go of 6. You don't have to let go of 6. I should have the chat in my stream, but I didn't figure that out, so too bad. So yeah, you don't have to let go of... No, you don't. That's what I was saying earlier. You can go... You can just keep it held down, which makes it a little easier. It like takes a little bit off your mental stack when you're doing the input. Oh, when you're doing the confirm from 2, and then you have to go to 5 for the 5 MK, you do have to let go. So this is a next thing is pretty big. So if you look at when we do LP, it's actually pretty slow. You can see there were, you know, a total of almost 8 frames and a 4-frame space in between the 2 LP presses. So that's like a place where it's pretty slow, right? As compared to when we do this, we get like 1 or 2 frames just straight up to piano the motion, and it's really fast. But this one seems kind of like a bottleneck. So kind of an old school trick you can do for something like this is you can take 2 fingers, and you can kind of like double tap. And you can see this one is a little faster, just generally. So that one was like, you know, 3 frames between. So that's going to be a lot faster if you do it that way. So yeah, it's nice. So I actually that one just came to me this morning. I was like, why aren't I double tapping that? And why is my input bad? You can't do that on keyboard. I can't do it on stick, apparently. I'm trying to teach people and I can't do it. You kind of just get into rhythms when you're practicing this thing, or you get it or don't get it. Alright, so remember that piano motion we were talking about? So now we have to start thinking about how do we get our... actually, first let's think of the easiest possible confirm or easiest possible setup for darkness illusion. So that's going to be going from her dash LP into DI. So obviously first you're going to want to practice just doing it just raw. Whatever. I'm going to miss some. It's fine. I'm not an expert. But I think I got an MK by accident. That's going to be pretty reliable. If you're like, let's say you're playing Morgan and you're just like conditioning people, maybe on wake up you're doing like 2 LK or something like that. Eventually you're going to want to do an overhead because they'll probably be trying to push block low, something like that. Or let's say you know they're waking up and they're just push blocking every time. If you just delay your overhead LP, you're going to be able to probably catch startup on buttons. So either you want it meaty or a little bit delayed, and that's going to get you some mileage. Forgive my input. So that's a pretty good one. Probably the first confirm I learned was off of 2 HP. And unfortunately, 2 HP, it's got some range on it, so you can probably get the confirm probably about there. But it's actually not a low, so it's not the best button to actually get into the habit of using, I think. Maybe it's a pretty good delay button, though, the way it just takes a little bit of time. So you probably get some success with it, but it's also good just to get your input kind of tight. So you could do this. This input's the important part about this input is you want to piano from HP to LP. So when you begin the motion, you want to start like that. So that just works pretty good. Should work mid-screen too, if you're pretty close. So that's a good one to practice. And so this one you can probably get away with just doing, you get like a decent amount of time, I know I missed it there, to do the 2 presses like this, but you probably want to get into the habit of using the double tap. Cool. So that's probably the first place you're going to go with. The second place you're going to go with DI after that one. But the big one is confirming off of MK. So both, you could both do 2 MK or 5 MK. That's not really a confirm because you're not going to have time to really stop yourself. Maybe if you're really pro, but I don't play Morgan that much. I know I can stop myself when I play B a little bit to like a certain extent for like CR confirms. So maybe people do get that sort of awareness, but I can't confirm that fast. I'm also kind of old. So the next thing to practice, this one's a little harder because you have this weird motion, right? So like before when we were doing the 2 HP to LP, we kind of had like a lot of space and it was kind of natural, right? Because our hands kind of rest this way. But for MK, you kind of have to do this weird, I use my ring finger on this one on MK and then use my middle finger on LP, and that way I can get one of these. So you're probably going to want to practice this kind of like piano motion on the same button. And you should use the input viewer to show, like, see where you're kind of going wrong. You just kind of got to practice it, but eventually it gets a little easier. And remember to keep on doing this motion. Sometimes it gets a little sloppy, but it really is faster. And you'll like hear the rhythm of it. Alright, so then we get onto like the real confirms. So you want to be practicing the 5MK to DI a bunch so that you can get used to this motion. If I can do it. It's hard. I got it like 100 times before I start the stream, and now I can't do it. Now I look stupid. There, I got it. Let's see if I can do it. I might get my input actually good. If it was Coco doing it, they would do it much better. So let me do one where I miss, and then we can look at why I'm missing. Because this is probably the most important skill to learn, is why am I missing? Well, that time was fine. So why did I miss that one? So we can see that I got LP, I got the MK to the LP, I got the forward, and then I hit LP MK, then I hit MK, and then it just looks like it was 1, 2, 3, probably a little too slow. It looks like I got all the inputs, but I think I missed the forward. Anywho, it is hard. There we go. I'm starting to get it again. So the hard part about this thing is separating the two inputs, right? So if we're practicing the 5 MK confirm or combo, we get used to that, right? But when you do this combo, you kind of have to do the LP MP in kind of a segment, and then you kind of want to just like let her rip. I'm doing the forward too early there. So try to practice it in like a few discrete like motions, right? So like think like I'm doing this first, and then I'm doing the whole other shebang. And all this stuff, I think, should, except for the, obviously like Lilith's dash is not an overhead, so she's going to be using it a little bit differently. Like obviously you can do that, but at that point I don't even know if that's a good strategy, like dashing an LP on that, because LI has like it goes over a lot of lows. Coco got me with that a lot yesterday when I tried to low meaty them. Um, so yeah. Look, I can do it again. It's so good. And Lilith also has the same confirm with HP. Um, Yay, I can do it. I don't look a scrub. Anyway, that's kind of all I wanted to show off. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to talk about and forgot, but hopefully that gives like some visuals on like how people do it that fast, right? So like you really want to be thinking of it as like one motion. Like you can see there, I kind of just, it's like a fluid motion once you get it, and it's much faster. I can't do some of the crazier Lilith links or whatever. I haven't practiced those, but yeah, I thought the webcam might make things look pretty good. Yeah, and as Coco's saying in the chat, you should not necessarily focus on this right away. Yeah, like if you're just getting into this character, you should probably focus on the game mechanics and the system of VSAV first. I mean, I just play Morgan as an ult sometimes, and I kind of like doing input and stuff, so I know how to do that stuff, but it's not gonna, I mean, a lot of times wake up DI is gonna get you a lot of stuff, or doing in the air, you know. But you really should be not focusing on those confirms because they're pretty hard. But if you want to start practicing them, sure, go ahead. It's just not going to make you godlike overnight because you can do it, and it's much harder to do in a game. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank y'all. Hopefully my recording will be up on YouTube pretty soon. And thank you to Coco, who helped me get the levels right and gave me some good input during the little stream. Bye-bye.